over a month since West Bengal saw political violence in the aftermath of the results of the state elections, hundreds of people were subsequently displaced, and we've shown you several of those voices from camps which were set up in neighboring Assam, where people fled from Cooch Behar. The houses were attacked, set on fire, vandalized. Families were told that they wouldn't be able to stay alive if they stayed in the region. Now, these people say that they are being punished only because they supported the BJP. Now, after a team was constituted by the Calcutta High Court to ensure the return of people who had to flee political violence, Times now travelled with them back to the houses that they left behind and to find out whether they really feel safe on returning.
2 तारीख को हम लोग को घर से निकाला गया है, हम लोग को मार पीट के निकाल दिया है। इस जगह हम लोग आए हैं, अभी भी हम लोग शांति से नहीं है, हम लोग को सताया जा रहा है। टीएमसी का 2 लड़का जिस दिन हम लोग आए हैं उस दिन हम लोग का पानी का ड्राम उठा कर फेंक दिया है। पुलिस पोस्टिंग हटेगा, ये लोग को मारेंगे पीटेंगे, बस ये लोग यही प्लान में है। हम लोग 2017 से मार खाते आ रहे हैं दीदी, और हम लोग नहीं सक रहे हैं। हम लोग का अपना मर्जी है बीजेपी पार्टी करने का। ये लोग का बोलने का मतलब है तुम लोग विरोधी पार्टी में क्यों ढुकी हो। ये लोग का लगता है पुलिस ऑफिसर से टीएमसी का लड़का से सबका पेट मिला हुआ है।
7 मई को मेरे घर में मेरी मम्मी थी अकेली, उनको आके एक लड़की थी और 5-6 तगड़े तगड़े गुंडे टाइप्स, उन लोगों ने आके मेरे मम्मी को बोला गया कि अगर तुम्हारा बेटा वापस इंटाली एरिया में हमको दिख गया तो उसका गला काट के जीने नहीं देंगे हम उसको, ऐसा करके बोला गया। तो मेरी मम्मी डर गई थी और 2 तारीख के बाद हम भी यहाँ पर थे नहीं, हम अपने नानी घर में चल गए थे।
अभी आप लोग सेफ महसूस कर रहे हैं वापस?
अभी पुलिस प्रोटेक्शन दिया गया है हमें, अभी तो हम सेफ महसूस कर रहे हैं। फिलहाल देखिए आगे क्या होता है।
Now, the BJP has raised this issue of what they call a witch hunt against their political karyakartas. Sources say BJP leader and in fact the leader of opposition in West Bengal Assembly, Shubhendu Adhikari, even broached the subject when he met the Home Minister during his Delhi visit. Jagdeep Dhankar, the Governor of West Bengal, also extensively toured these areas which were hit by violence, in fact, and has sought a report from the state government. He's also questioned the silence of the state so far on this alleged political violence. The TMC, though, says that it's nothing but political propaganda. All right, and joining us now on the News Hour agenda, we have the Governor of West Bengal, Mr. Jagdeep Dhankar. I want to start by asking you, you've repeatedly flagged up the issue of post-poll violence after the 2nd of May. However, the government has told the Calcutta High Court on record that after the 9th of May, no violence has taken place. How do you see this response of the state government?
Let me tell you, country has never seen such kind of unprecedented post-poll retributive violence. People in the state, in the country and outside have drawn my attention. The situation is so explosive that since independence, we have never seen such kind of harrowing spectacle of violence, vandalism, unrestrained attack on people. And do you know the premise of it? The only premise is that in the largest democracy, some people chose to exercise their right to vote out of their own volition. Let me tell you, moved by the situation and taking note of total ignorance of the ground reality by the state government, as governor, as constitutional head, I went to all affected areas where there was violence on 13th May, on 14th May, and on 15th May. I had a plan to continue for 10 days, but there was a total lockdown on 16th May. I would continue this exercise once the lockdown is lifted. Imagine what I saw when I went to Cooch Behar, Dinhata, Sitalkuchi, I could see that tale which you can never imagine. Vandalism of the houses, rapes, killings. I asked 3 questions to the people. 3 questions. One, why did you not go to the police? Their response was, we will walk into a police station as victim. We will come out as accused. And then we will suffer reprisals at the hands of the ruling party workers. Second, I asked, did anyone from the government ever come to you? Answer was no. I also asked them, with pain in my heart, did any journalist come to you? The fourth pillar, that was not there. When I went to Nandigram, I had to take to a scooter. I had to take to a 3-wheeler. And you cannot imagine my plight. What excruciating pain I suffered when they told me in one voice, caught my feet, did not want to leave my feet. We are prepared to change our religion if that can be passport to life. Where is that order of Calcutta High Court which has given clean chit to them? I have been looking for it. I have searched all the records of Calcutta High Court. This narrative is great injustice to the democratic fabric we have in the state of West Bengal. The fear quotient in the people is so high that it cannot be in sync with democracy. Can you beat it? There have been 3 cabinet meetings on 17th May, 24th May and 10th May. The first one on 10th May. On 5th May, when the Honorable Chief Minister took oath, at that very time I flagged the issue to her. Post-poll retributive violence, people being made to pay with their lives for only exercising right to vote. I said, Madam Chief Minister, please take some steps. In none of the 3 cabinet meetings, there is not even a whisper. No government minister, no government official has gone to the areas that have been affected. I am pained to react. There are 2 kinds of people in the state of West Bengal now. 2 categories. One category that will have sound sleep. There is no fear of law in them. The state apparatus is in their support. The other category will never have sound sleep. State apparatus is ranged against them. How can we countenance such a situation in a democratic framework? It is now 6 weeks. Government has no data. Property worth crores has been destroyed. There is exodus of lakhs of people. I went to Assam to run Pangli camp. I saw the harrowing tales of the people. Can you imagine what has happened? There is a petition filed in Assam High Court about it. Just to have a cosmetic cover, doing nothing at all. 3 questions I put to everyone. Has the government taken any step in public domain, sending a signal to bureaucracy that control the situation? No. Has any government functionary or a minister or chief minister been to any poll violence affected area? No. Have they made any contribution by way of compensation, rehabilitation? No. In such a glaring situation, I do not know how come informed media set a narrative, Calcutta High Court has given a clean sheet. Where is it? I am really pained. People don't expect the governor.
No, sir, I did not say it has given a clean sheet. The government on, if I may, the government said on record that after the 9th of May, no violence has taken place. And subsequently, the court also formed a committee to ensure that there is the return of people who had to flee because of post-poll violence. And that process has also started. You don't think that is enough, even though the beginning has been made? People have started coming back, those who had run away after the 2nd of May.
I am fully updated. I sent a message in a state of concern to the Chief Secretary to see me. The Chief Secretary did see me 2 days ago. I reflect the issues to him, Padmaji. He came without document. He came without input. He was not at all informed of anything. And still narrative, all is well. People are now being paid in a situation which will put democracy to shame. To live in their own house, they have to pay extortion fee. To run their business, they have to pay extortion fee. Ruling party hermits are not in fear of law. People are in complete fear of them. And the state apparatus, the police apparatus, is so deeply politicized that it is an extension of the ruling party hermits. I have seen it for myself. You see the videos, 17th May and 18th May. What kind of vandalism was there at the main gate of Raj Bhavan? The main access to Raj Bhavan. Prohibitory orders are there. I had to send a message to Calcutta Police Commissioner and no response. On 17th May, the country, the largest democracy, witnessed a scene of unimaginable concern. Chief Minister, who is also Home Minister, under oath of Constitution, to act according to law and Constitution, stormed into CBI office, was there for 6 hours, intimidatory posture, release them or arrest me. Release whom? Who have been arrested in mega criminal cases. Outside, office was under siege. Central forces were being attacked. I called the Kolkata Police Commissioner. I am sorry to tell you for the first time on screen. He told me, sir, 144 is not implementable. Is it not complete collapse of rule of law? People tell me, Governor, if this scene had been in any other part of the country, if a sitting chief minister had done so, heavens would have come down. No whisper, no reaction. Can you ever imagine in a society governed by law, this can happen? Outside Raj Bhavan and the siege of the CBI office.
Sir, I will come back to this.
There is no
and also
violence.
The issue of the Cyclone Yas relief meeting. But I want to ask you one more question about the post-poll violence itself. From what you are narrating, there seems to be, you say you have seen firsthand, a persecution of people because of their political ideology and a situation where they have no recourse to the law because the police is refusing to file FIRs. Then why are institutions like the NHRC, the National Commission for Women, even the Centre not acting? Because if, like you have seen yourself and you are narrating, there is a breakdown of this kind where people's fundamental rights are being violated, surely some intervention has to happen. Who will intervene then?
Well, let me tell you, Calcutta High Court, in an ongoing petition, has constituted a committee where inputs can be made available on a particular website of the legal authority. Please have a check. And the entire fact premise on which narrative is being set is collapsed 100%. Complaints are there to National Human Rights Commission, to the Child Commission, to the Women Commission. They have been here. The worst sufferers are scheduled caste and scheduled tribes. The law is very strong. I asked the state authorities, have you registered any case under SC/ST Act? They don't. Constitutional parameters are outraged. Rule of law is not obtaining here. No one knows better than me. When people tell me, when I go to Cooch Behar, a girl looks to me in the eyes, sir, twice I've been subjected to most inhuman indignity. Today they sure will, because you have come. When I see rows after rows of houses being damaged with my own eyes, when I see in important towns business establishments being vandalized, Please have a look at it. Property worth thousands of crores has been destroyed. And the grim situation is, in your own house, you can live only as a tenant now. These things happening virtually on gunpoint. Total lawlessness and anarchy. And if you ever come to state of West Bengal, if you ever send your team, if ever they visit the areas I have visited, Padmija ji, you will accuse me that, Governor, I never expected you to understate a case. The enormity of the situation was far too serious than I am narrating on television. I am keeping utmost restraint. Can you believe a chief minister for 6 weeks keeping silence over such a serious issue where lakhs have been subjected to exodus, and governor has cautioned her a dozen times? Can you imagine a situation that in spite of my pleading with them, the chief secretary is unable to come out with any figure? It was on 3rd May, in a situation of desperation. I called the DGP, I called Commissioner Kolkata Police, I called Home Commissioner. All three came, Padmija ji. I said, give me reports in your areas. Late evening, I called Kolkata Police Commissioner and DGP. They said, sir, we have sent our report to the Additional Chief Secretary Home, Mr. Dwivedi, who is not Chief Secretary now. He doesn't find it necessary to send the reports to me. Is it not lawlessness? What is he covering? He was
Then
Home
what
Secretary,
is the way
then now he's
out?
Chief Secretary.
All of these facts,
Chief Secretary
surely the High Court is seized off. It is there in public domain. We have reported also from the camps where people had to flee in Assam where they were staying. If the courts are seized of the matter, if the center is seized of the matter, then what is the way out? What explains the lack of action and the silence so far? Who should these displaced people or persecuted people
Padmija ji.
expect any justice from?
Padmija ji, my prayer to you with folded hands. The media has to do its job. On small issues, media has gone at a hyper level. I have no issue on that. Why they are not focusing on this area at all? If the governor is talking something which is distant from fact reality, you will not believe it. I have shared all incriminating material with the Honorable Chief Minister. I have shared it with the DGP. In a state of hopelessness, in a state of helplessness, 3 days ago I wrote to the DGP, I will not bother you anymore. Because the DGP of the state, who holds a position in terms of a Supreme Court judgment, is supposed to be slightly sensitive to such a situation, has not responded to the governor even once. What you are saying, the courts are
Sir,
seized.
every time you flag this up
Why don't
and a
we first
response is
focus on
sought from the
main
state,
issue?
their answer is,
No,
this is a distraction, it's a political witch hunt. This, the Cyclone Yas review meeting, all of this, the Chief Minister has said, is only an effort to go after the state government because the BJP lost in the state.
You see,
It's a witch hunt.
let me tell you, the governance in the state of West Bengal is a standalone governance. It is difficult to conclude. It treats itself as part of the federal unity. Anything coming from the federal government, the response is adversarial. I have seen it myself. I have tried to caution them on a number of occasions. The questions I am raising, why should those questions be put under the carpet? The entire world knows what is happening in Bengal. The entire world knows what is the extent of crime. Why the Chief Minister has not chosen to visit a single area? Why she has not uttered a single word? Why not a single minister has gone? Why not even a penny of compensation has been given? Why there is no rehabilitation? Why there is no assurance? That cannot be allowed. If we have to survive as a democratic nation, we cannot have a police state like this being governed. The entire police machinery, administration machinery, is in political captivity. If someone wants to counter me, from a distance, that's one part of it. But if someone has to get a feel of the ground reality, measure the fear quotient, then Padmalaji, you will know. Situation is far more grim. When I say in post-independent India, we have not seen such kind of vandalism, arson, loot, killings, rape, destruction of property on one count. How dare in democracy you vote as per your choice? How dare in democracy you vote against us? They are being first identified. And who are they sparing? No one. It's a campaign, free for all.
Because when you talk about the political visits, the TMC says we are visiting people. We are visiting people who are truly victimized. For example, Abhishek Banerjee visiting the victims of a lightning strike, COVID facilities, etc. are being looked at. They're saying we are monitoring what are the real concerns at this point in the state. This is a political sideshow.
Ma'am, I have put to you 4 situations. You are such a senior journalist. Did the issue come up in any of the 3 cabinet meetings? In spite of the governor having cautioned it? 1. 2. Did the chief minister make any statement? Keep calm, don't engage in violence, officials will be held accountable? No. Did she visit any area? No. Did any ministers or officials visit the area? No. Was there any compensation paid? Was rehabilitation undertaken? No. Loose cannons are acting freely with the support of state apparatus, and this is total chaos and lawlessness. If these 4 issues I have flagged to you,
So
you have any
speaking of
factual
chaos,
input, I'll be happy to
I
answer.
want to flag
What
up
a
an issue
what a
which has
political
become
party says.
the latest flashpoint. Sure, the latest flashpoint is the transfer or the recall of the Chief Secretary Alpan Bandyopadhyay at a time, the former Chief Secretary Alpan Bandyopadhyay at a time when of a pandemic.
Ma'am, we'll confine it to post-poll violence at the moment. I'll be happy to associate as and when there is a situation. Right now, my concern is,
All right.
I cannot fiddle in Raj Bhavan when Bengal is on fire. Even now, let me tell you, 2 days before, an event that took place under the commissionerate Barakpur, head was blown. Means the brutality is with entire dastardly and barbaric content. All political violence. And can democracy survive? I pose a question to myself. If punishment, disciplining for a person voting in a particular volition is death, rape, killing, arson, loot, surely not. Threat is to the essence of democratic fabric. Threat is to the most basic fundamentals of democracy. I would appeal to you and to everyone in the media, please engage into investigative journalism. Get a feel of ground reality in the state of West Bengal. It's a frontline state. It has geostrategic importance. We cannot face a situation when a section of people are in a state of hopelessness and helplessness. That's the point I'm making. And as regards what has to be done,
All right.
first, ma'am, we have to ensure governance must be according to rule of law. Governance can't be on partisan principles. It can't be so brutal. It can't be so ruthless. It can't be of the kind which I am seeing 24/7 here.
And it certainly cannot be at the cost of the lives and rights of anyone, irrespective of what their political ideology is. Thank you very much, Honorable Governor, for having spoken to us. Very important point
Thank you,
being raised, that the silence of the state cannot be tolerated, especially when lives are at risk.